Hey, it's Devin, and this is the Youngbloods. What is going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody is just doing fantastic. Because honestly, you know what? It has been one of those days where sometimes you just have to sit back and go, "What the heck is going on?" And honestly, that's kind of how it works. Because man, today was so you learn a lot of things about people, a lot of things about how people run their lives and how they do things. As a dad that is supports his kids, and a dad that watches his kids play rugby and sports and things like that. And when you sit back and you observe the ins and outs of when you observe the ins and outs of I say high school and even just child sports in general, one thing I've learned and I've noticed is parents are crazy. Okay, and if you have crazy parents, then what ends up happening is you end up having crazy kids. Now, I say that not joking. I say that in total seriousness because over the past I don't know how many since Jacob started playing rugby, years ago, I've noticed that the parent issue is always going to be an issue, and you can automatically tell the type of kid that you're going to have on the team when you see the parents and how they act. Now, today, I love my kids. I think it's amazing, but the thing that I've noticed is when you have all the how do I say this in a kind way? What I've noticed is when you have parents who are willing to push their kids to fight at a game, then you're going to have kids that are willing to fight at the game, even if those kids should know better. So I think we have a parent problem. Two, we have a discipline problem for those kids. So today we're at the rugby games, and we're watching the game. Is what the last game I think it was for Logan for the day. And while we're at the game, just like normal rugby, no one was intentionally hurting anybody until this one kid got butt hurt, and then he got butt hurt because one of our guys on our team, he goes in and he takes him down, and the guy got mad, and so he swings on him, misses. So Logan gets in the way and kind of blocks him, pushes our guy out of the way because he's like, I don't want you to get hit, and he swings at Logan and he misses, and then he swings and hits another kid on our team and actually hits him in the head, and the reality, and so then you hear the parents on for the other team, and they're saying, well, yeah, he deserved that. I'm like, deserved that for what? For doing his job at the game? Do we expect it? So if your kid was to go say pro, and your kid was going to play pro sports, and while he's playing pro sports, what are we going to say? It's okay for your kid to hit another person, because that doesn't work. And then for you to say it's okay to do that, you're really the problem. I mean, it boggles the mind what parents do and what parents say when it comes to their kids doing in sports, and instead of just supporting your kid. I mean, here's the deal. I get it. Everybody wants to win. The whole idea that there are no winners and there are no losers is a false narrative that we've been given for way too long, and people have sucked in, and they've stepped back and they've accepted that as if it's the gospel. But the reality is there are winners and there are losers. In life, there's winners and there are losers. In sports, there's winners and losers. In everything, there's winners and losers. And it's how we play those games that comes out. I mean, if you can't play a game and win gracefully, and you can't play a game and win and lose gracefully, then you've got a problem. Now, I get it. We all want to win. I've said that before. Everybody wants to win. But if you learn to lose gracefully, and you learn to not to take everything too serious, just understand that it is a game, and your job is to play hard, but your job is not to try to fight and beat everybody up, and not to, tell everybody that they're wrong, and not, you listen to your coach and do what they say. Now, if the coaches are telling you to swing on people and your coaches are telling you to, do these things, you got to be held accountable. And that's one thing I've noticed when it comes to Utah rugby. And it seems like Utah rugby in general, there is no accountability when it comes to teams acting up. Now, this team that we played today, they literally are, it never changes. They are a good team. Don't get me wrong. They are actually an amazing team. So if they could harness that ability of being amazing and take their attitudes out of it, they would dominate the entire sport like no other. They would be the top. But because they have such crappy attitudes about everything, they ruin it for everybody. And then, like I know last year there were parents saying they're going to pull guns and shoot the coaches and shoot the refs and the other parents and things like that. Those type of people just need to be not allowed to play. Their kids don't need to be allowed to play. There has to be a point when you actually punish the whole team, because in many cases, if you punish part of the team, then what happens is if you only punish one person, then the team's gonna keep doing what they're doing. There is no way to actually get things settled down. At this point, you need to go in and you need to punish the entire team equally. So then the whole team will sit back and they'll look at the team will hold each other accountable. They'll treat each other as if they were, part of something amazing, which they are. The reality is you have to hold people accountable. And if you can't if holding one person accountable for bad deeds doesn't work, you need to hold the entire group accountable. So then the group will push the one out and make them do the right thing. So yeah, I mean, I just, there's little things when it comes to kid sports. It always drives me crazy. And because I know everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to win. Every parent wants to see their kid do the best they can and be the winners and, have all that over the other people. But you can't just treat it that way. You actually have to go in and with respect, you have to support your kid and you support your coaches, but you keep your mouth shut as a parent. That's how you do it. You keep your mouth shut. Simple as that. Whatever, you can have all the emotions you want, but let your kid play. If you support your kid, let him play, give him pointers on the side when it's done, but trust your coaches, trust your kids. Because don't be living your life through your children. That's the bottom line. And I see that way too much. So many parents are like, well, when I was your age, no one gives a crap what you did when you were your age. You can tell the stories, but you can't live your life through your children. Let your children live their own lives. So anyway, I just had to get my 2 cents out and about that. I know, and I don't think anyone is going to listen to it as far as the rugby community, but I think in general, if we take those things as parents and we sit back and say, you know what, I'm going to support my kid in their sports that they play, and I'm going to leave it at that, then I think they'll be better. Your kids will be better. You just got to. I mean, being a parent is showing your kid how to win and win the right way. Being a parent is also showing your kid that you don't act out just because, thank you, by the way, just because they're not getting what they want. I mean, we shouldn't be raising a bunch of babies who don't know how to function in life. We need to be raising, young men, especially in the rugby community. You need to be raising young men who are going to be effective leaders in the future. That's what this is about. We stopped having our kids go to the scout program years ago because the scout program was obviously in a big decline. And when I was a kid, I went to a scout program and it was fun. We enjoyed it, but rugby took place for that because how united they are as a group, how the kids are and the parents unite as a group and work together, and that's what I liked the most about the whole rugby community. But it's getting a little bit out of hand when you have parents who don't know how to act accordingly. You have coaches that are not holding their kids accountable on their bad deeds. They're, if anything, they're promoting the anger that they should not have. You should be teaching your kids to bottle the anger. I mean, in the infamous words of Jordan Peterson, we need to be monsters, but we need to be able to know how to control it. And when you're in a game, you can be that monster, but you don't go over the edge when you're trying to, fight somebody. That makes no sense to me. You should not try to take someone out with your fist or we're kicking them or whatever just because you feel like that the game's not going your way. That's not how the game is played. Play the game according to the rules, do it the right way. So, yeah, there's my 2 cents. So I got some emails. Obviously, that's what I do. I do emails. I do messages. You guys want to jump in and join me? That's fine too. I'm all about that. We'll add you to this whole deal. I don't mind. Call in, whatever you want to do. Send me a message. Send me a comment. I'll try to see. I've got multiple screens going with multiple platforms, and so I'm trying to keep track of everybody's comments and things like that. So hopefully, I don't miss you. If I do, I apologize. But I got a comment on actually I want to address this one. It's from a mother. And I'm going to answer it 2 different ways because just for some clarity to clear out both sides. So this mother, we'll call it's at Misty Moonlight. My 12-year-old is dyslexic. I'm homeschooling him. Do you have any pointers on how to stay motivated and want to do school? Right now, it's a struggle. Here's the thing. I'll talk about this on 2 sides. The first side, as a parent, it is going to be a struggle. I can't tell you how many times when I was pulled out of public school and my parents decided to teach me, homeschooled me, and how many times we drove my mom completely nuts. Days that we didn't want to do the schoolwork, days that I wasn't motivated to do schoolwork. It wasn't until my parents allowed me to. So back when I'm 46 years old, but back when I was in public school, my teachers in schools did not understand how to work with, and they still kind of don't, how to work with kids who have dyslexia, because it's not something that our brains work completely different than normal. I'd say the normal kids do, or what they consider normal. Of course, what is considered normal these days, right? But so we don't fit the mold, is what I'm getting at. Because we don't fit the mold, our brains work in a total different direction. And the best way I've ever heard it described was our brains will make a 3-dimensional view of whatever the object is, and we'll take it apart in that 3-dimensional way, and we'll put it back together. And that's one reason when we look at different things that we turn it like we'll turn letters backwards or upside down because we're looking at it in multiple different ways in our brain. Now, knowing that, as a parent, my parents, well, as a kid, when my parents were teaching me, they allowed me to work with my hands and deconstruct everything I could, right? So so I did have to learn the normal, basics, reading, writing, all, my dad knows history like the back of his hand. And so we had a library, and every book was available for us to read, whatever. It was all political on multiple different ways to think about things. It was philosophy, all this stuff. That was all available to us. What we ended up doing was, my parents ended up doing, they allowed me to deconstruct my own schoolwork in the way that would work for me. And by deconstructing the homework and the schoolwork in the way it worked for me, it allowed me to teach myself. And then when I needed my parents would come in and say, here's how we do this. Here's how I know how to do this. And then this is how we're going to make it work for you. Now, my parents are amazing. They figured out how my brain functions when it comes to dyslexia. And they allowed me to, in many cases, teach myself. That may be hard. But because they allowed me to deconstruct things, I was able to, take the math and make it physical, whether it was through working in the family owned business, it became part of the routine. And I was able to deconstruct all that and turn the math for my schoolwork was into what it was that I was supposed to do for the actual school teachings. Now, motivated on the kid side, that's a hard one. Only thing I can say is for me to stay motivated, my parents would, they would make sure I had plenty of time to evaluate what I was doing. It wasn't, sit down for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or sit there until you just get it done. They were like, okay, let's work on it a little bit. Let's write it out. Let's do it their way. Then go relax for a little bit. Not play video games, not anything. Get it out of the house. Do something that's physical. Do something that's takes my brain that's running 100 miles an hour and slows it down. Now, I do know that when it comes to school, it's easy. It's an easy way to say this, but boys and girls are different. Boys are active, and every school wants to throw down every kid's throat some type of medication, especially young men throw medication down their throat saying, well, they're just too active. They're just overactive. They're overactive. Stop saying that. That's just how boys are. That's how little boys are. That's how they function. And a lot of little girls are the same way, but that's how majority of boys are. They function in that direction. So if our school system is messed up, we need to go in and we need to allow young men to work with their hands, to get out, get more physical things going on. So being my parents homeschooled me, that's what they did for me. So they allowed me to do the physical stuff. And then they worked in the book learning stuff in the middle of all that. And there was some stuff I hated, and then there's a lot of stuff I enjoyed just because how they allowed me to do it. So, again, for you, Misty Moonlight, the reality is your kid is incredibly smart. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know. This is something that you already know. But because your kid has dyslexia, let him explain to you what works. That's what you need to do. He knows how the best way for him to understand things. Ask him to explain math to you. And then as you do that, it will function. You will be able to know exactly how, he needs to do things. Give him time to work with his hands. Give him time to, get away from the constant forced down book reading, because, reading is important, but it's hard when you're dyslexic. How are you doing, Hannah? But when you're dyslexic, it is so difficult to force your brain to do something that it doesn't want to do. I know I can read a book upside down faster than I can read normal. And I'm 46 years old. I've been doing that all my life. It's just because my brain knows how to just reverse it the right way so I can blow through the book. So there's that. Anyway, I hope that helped, but in all reality, that's the truth of it all. What else we got here? Hey, Devin. My 6-year-old has an imaginary friend, which seems cute at first, but now they're telling me things they couldn't possibly know, like details about my own childhood, my old house, and people they've never met. It's creeping me out, and I don't know if it's just vivid imagination or something more. Should I be concerned, or is it just normal? Is this just normal kid stuff? I'm starting to feel unsettled. Sincerely, freaked out parent. Let's get you added in here. See if that works. And did it go? How are you doing, my friend? You're like, I'm back. Another day in paradise, right? Oh, wow. How was work? Yes. One of those days, huh?
Yeah, one of those days.
All right. One more second. Let's see. We got another person that wants to jump in. Let's see if we can get her going on here.
Sounds good.
All right. Is that going to work? Sometimes technology does not do like it's supposed to do. All right, here we go. Let's go back. And here are we back. Oh, everybody. All right. Wait. Here we go. Okay, no worries. Sorry, didn't want to request, didn't mean to do the present. No big deal. If you wanted to be on here, I don't mind adding you. It's perfectly fine. But yeah, this one email, kids know things. Kids see things. I had an imaginary friend when I was a kid. Did you have an imaginary friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybo's had imaginary friends, I think. But
Yeah.
when it comes to it, I mean, if the kid knows things that were done in the past, probably a little bit more to it than just an imaginary friend, my opinion. Sure, they could be creeped out, but as long as they're not doing anything that's like crazy, I think they'll be fine. That's my opinion. But who knows? Maybe this kid is seeing ghosts in your house, walking them and telling this person stories of things that's going on. That'd be weird, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh me. Anyway, all right, let's keep on going. I guess. What else we got on here? Another one of those. Okay, here we go. This one is, hey Devin, I recently found out that my sibling has been faking a terminal illness for months, maybe even longer. They told everyone that they're dying, and people, including me, have been bending over backwards to support them. But now it turns out it was all a lie for attention. I'm furious, hurt, and I don't know how to confront them or even if I want them in my life anymore. How do I handle this? Here's the deal. There's people that are jackasses.
Yeah. 100%.
if you
Everywhere you go.
I mean, so faking a terminal illness. We talked about this yesterday. It was just another email that popped up that I was looking through. You don't fake a terminal illness. There's no need for that. That's garbage. Anyone that does that, they've got problems.
Yeah.
Now, as far as how to confront them, just talk to them. I mean, this person's got, they feel they're mad and they're hurt. Yeah, rightful so. I mean, there's no need to lie about anything, but this is just proof that people say, they're so desperate for attention that they'll do anything for attention. So, I mean, if you wanted to cut them out of your life, you could. I mean, I don't know if that would help anything.
That's just like the one email we read a while ago.
Which one?
Of like,
Remind me.
what was it?
I read a lot of them.
Yeah. The one friend that you're super close with, but you don't really got much stuff in
I'm actually looking for it.
the stuff you like anymore, and you don't go out and do it anymore with them.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I mean, if you got a sibling, yeah, exactly. I mean, if you got a sibling that's lying, and you make a choice. You could do things with them, or you could choose not to. I mean, and honestly, I would if someone had lied to me about a terminal illness. I mean, my mother-in-law did the same thing actually, and the thing she lied about was the thing that she died from. So I hate to say karma, but I mean, it got her. It bit her in the butt. And I get it. Some people just have to have that attention, but honestly, it's not right. You don't do that. You don't go out and try to just get people's attention. So honestly, you can go in and cut them off. I mean, if you wanted to, cut them off. But honestly, you don't have to. Just tell them how you feel. That's what I think. Tell them how you feel and move on. Say, hey, I support you when you're telling the truth, but if you're going to lie to me, I don't give a crap. I'm not going to do a dang thing. We're done. So it's just, I don't know, the insanity of some people and the things that people do. It makes no sense to do that, but whatever. Why are people so dumb? I don't understand that. People, there's too much going on in life just to lie about things. Whatever. Anyway. All right, let's see if we can find something decent in here other than people faking their terminal illnesses. Hey, Devin, I've lived in my house for 5 years and recently found a hidden room behind a false wall. Okay, inside were stacks of creepy black and white photos, some of people, others of strange rituals and gatherings. The weirdest part is I've recognized some faces from the neighborhood, but the photos look like they're decades old. If I'm freaked out and not sure what to do. Should I tell someone or just leave it alone? You know, I hate to say it, but and I've said it before. Sometimes I think people just make some of this crap up. But let's just say for the sake of saying River's in the house, by the way. For the sake of saying, let's say it's real. Let's say that they did find a hidden room, because I can tell you, my parents, their house, they have hidden rooms. And in the previous house that my parents built, they had a giant room that they hid that was hidden in between, and you'd have no clue. Matter of fact, the room was so hidden. When my parents sold the house, they sold it to this doctor. Then the doctor, a few years later, he committed suicide. But then his wife, he didn't tell his wife that the room was there. So then she lived there for a couple of more years after his demise. Then she sold the house. So when she sold the house, the people who currently live in it, they're just talking. My parents still live on the same road. They just built another house just down the street from them, and they, my dad was talking to them. They said, "So what do you guys do with your secret room?" And they're like, "Secret room." And my dad's like, "Yeah, we got a secret room. There's a secret room in the house." And they're like, "No, we don't." He's like, "Yeah, I built the house. There's a secret room." And then they were able to just take all the, they went, my dad goes up there and shows them where it was, and they were blown away. So I knew no secret rooms do exist. Guy over on a person over on TikTok, they said, make a scrapbook with all the pictures and leave it on their porches with messages. It's that time again. Yeah, make copies of it so you go to all the neighbors that you know that are in that rituals and just start dropping that off at all their houses. Can you imagine how freaky that would be? That is awesome. Oh my gosh, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
That's gotta be the best tonight.
Yeah, so this stuff can be real. We do know that people do weird secret stuff all the time. I mean, it's just one of those things that people. I mean, I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, but I do enjoy a good conspiracy, and I do know that the elites do meet in California in Bohemian Grove, and they do some weird, crazy crap out there. So if this person found some weird, creepy black and white photos of some of the people in the neighborhood doing ritualistic stuff, it's probably could be real. So to send a scrapbook with all those photos, man, that would shake up the world there, wouldn't it? See, it's comments like that that just make this whole worth it. We know who you are. Oh man. Yeah, and honestly, take the photos, burn them, throw them away. You found you a cool secret room. That's what I say you do. Don't even worry about it. If you wanted to confront people about it, go for it, but don't worry about it. And because obviously someone who lived in that home before you did, they were doing weird stuff. So my opinion is you can make something of it or you could not make something of it, but that's a choice. Oh my gosh, people. It's awesome. All right, let's see. Hey, Devin, I recently discovered that my wife is leading a double life for years, an entirely separate family, a wife. Okay. entirely separate family, kids, the works. I'm going to say BS to this one. Okay, they've been living with me. Hold on, sorry, separate. Okay, this got a twist on it. I recently discovered my spouse, not wife. Okay, I thought it said wife. I recently discovered my spouse has been leading a double life. Okay, this could be true. I thought it said wife. That's my bad. For years, an entirely separate family, kids, the works. They've been living with me and this other family the whole time, and I had no idea. I'm devastated. What? They've been living with me and the other family the whole time. You guys, okay. Okay, I'm devastated, angry, and lost. How do I even begin to process this kind of betrayal? I'm questioning everything about my life and don't know where to go from here. Okay, so my brain's going in circles on this thing, the way it's worded. At first, I thought it says my wife is living a double life and she has other kids. Well, did you not notice that she was pregnant? First of all, so she disappeared for 9 months. So I was wrong on that one. So that was my assumptions that were completely wrong. It just says my spouse. So it's the guy. It's her husband. Okay, that is true. I know people that have done that. I know people that have had separate families, and they've kept what they were like. There was a guy that I knew that was in the hardware industry when I was doing stuff in the hardware industry, and he had his family in Atlanta, but then also he had a family out in California, and he traveled for work, so he made that work that way, which is horrible for one. You don't do that to anybody, but whatever. Now, but this one, they've been living with me and this other family the whole time. So I'm going to guess that they probably live in the same apartment building is what my guess is. And so they see these people daily. That's my assumption is what you're trying to say. So here's the thing. You've been living with a cheater for one. And I don't know if you have kids with this guy, but if you have kids with this guy and he's got kids with another woman, then you need to take every dime he has, because if you can find out if you were married to him first, that means that means the other woman is the mistress. You essentially can get we know he's gonna have a place to go. So there's that. He already has a place to go. Now the mistress woman, she may not know about you, so that may work out for both of y'all's advantage if you do this. But man, to live a double life, can you imagine? It's the thing is that people. The thing is, I don't. It blows my mind the things that people do. You can't just have another family. I get that this kind of crap does happen. I get that there are that many jerks out there that do this stuff. I don't know how you got disconnected, but I added you back if you wanted to be back. But that's so weird. I don't know what's happening here. But no, the reality is you need to get out. That's what needs to happen. You need to leave this guy. You need to move on. You need to, if you got kids with him, he needs to be paying for your kids, obviously, because that's what he's the father. He needs to be paying for your kids. I don't know what's happening, my friend. Maybe something with the Instagram. Okay, go for it. But anyone that treats their spouse this way that's just wrong. It should never ever happen this way. Oh man, yeah. You need to get out. We need to make him get out. Is what you need to do. And then if you're in the same apartment complex, you probably need to move anyway. Find your place for you and your family, and without him, and then let him pay for it. That's what you need to do. I know that's hard to say. That there you have been. I know you're questioning everything in life, and you don't know where to go from there. But you got to make a decision, and your decision needs to be is what's the best thing for you, and if you have kids, what's the best thing for your kids as well, because he's done you wrong. That's plain and simple. You don't treat people bad like that. That's not how. No good person in the world treats anyone, especially their spouse, that way. So my opinion, my advice is get out, and move on. Seriously, there are going to be people out there that love you and that accept you who you are, and that there's people out there who will live up to your standard of living and life versus this type of dude. This type of dude he's no good. Make him who cares? Move on, get away from him. Anyway, all right, let's do another one. I get so many emails. It's insane. I love it. Thank you guys again for trusting me to do this, but it's awesome. I mean, whether some of these things are real or not, I don't know, but cool. I like it. If you're willing to send me a question, I'll be willing to answer it. And I don't care how weird or strange or whatever. Even if you make it up, I'll entertain the thought of a made up story. So whatever. Doesn't bother me. Here we go. Next one says, "Hey Devin, I made the worst mistake possible. I accidentally sent my boss a very personal text meant for my partner. To make things worse, it wasn't just a simple 'I love you' text. It was explicit. Now I have to face my boss tomorrow and I feel like crawling under the rock. How do I handle this without dying of embarrassment and making things worse at work?" Okay, I know iPhone has this ability. And you probably should have done this from the beginning, okay? And, of course, I'm just now getting to this email, so this email may be 2 or 3 days old or by the time I get to it, because I don't keep the dates. I just copy your email, drop it onto a file that has all the emails in a row so I can read through them all, quickly instead of having to click on different emails. So this you may have already had to spend a week with your boss from this. But here's the thing. I do know that iPhones have the ability to unsend a message. I'm sure Android does the same thing. I don't know. I haven't had an Android phone in years. So the reality is you should have unsent it. My other advice is make sure you know who you're sending a message to before you send the message. Double check that. Because you don't want to make that mistake, and especially on something that could potentially get you fired from your job. I mean, I feel bad for you, but if you had to go see your boss at work since I couldn't get the emails fast enough, they probably just brushed it off. You probably told them that, "Hey, I'm sorry, that was meant for my husband. I didn't mean to send that to you." But yeah, I'm sorry. That sucks. But in the future, double check who you're going to send the message to before you send it. Either that or get yourself a different type of messaging system just for you and your significant other, and you guys only use that. I know for the longest time, my wife and we would have a text message string that was totally private between her and I. And that was so our kids we would have stuff on there like what we'll get the kids for Christmas and things like that. So we did that because it was encrypted and you had to have a password to get into the message to read it. So, being that I traveled a lot and I was gone a lot, all our communication was all done by phone. And so, yeah. Just be careful next time. You'll be okay. Hey, Devin, I recently discovered through a DNA test that I was switched at birth. My entire life, I thought I was part of this loving family, and now I'm being told I belong to another family that I've never met. I'm torn between loyalty to the family who raised me and curiosity about the family I never knew. How do I even begin to process something like this life-altering event? Sincerely, switched at birth. If you were switched at birth, here's the thing. The people that raised you, you were part of a loving family. You said they're part of you were part of a loving family, so you were part of a loving family. Now, whether they switched you, whether the doctor or the nurse switched you, I don't know how that can even happen nowadays. Don't know how old you are, but DNA tests are real. They do work. I mean, my wife has taken one, and because my wife doesn't know who her real father is, and we now have an idea who her real dad is. So he lives in Florida where she was raised, and now we just need to get down to Florida to introduce my wife to her potential real dad. Now, what I look at this is bonus family. And the cool thing is you already have a family that loves you, which is amazing. But what you got next to is you have bonus family now. So essentially what you have is you can reach out to them if they want to talk, and you can say hi to them. And then you can say, hey, I'd love to come visit you. You may have another great, loving family. The people that raised you, they're just as torn as anything else. Because if you were switched, that means their child was switched too. So that's pretty rough. So with that being said, that means you have another sibling, technically, not by blood, but by association. You have another sibling that you can hang out with now. So the reality is you got bonus family. Bonus family is good. I think that's amazing. So don't look at this as the glass half empty. Look at this as the glass half full, because you got bonus family. Now, if you find out that family that your new family are not good people, you don't have to do a dang thing with them. You can move on. That's the beautiful part. You can move on. You can say, I'm done. I'm out with this. I don't have to deal with this. I don't care to be part of this, because you have a family. So there you go. Now, what they will probably do, the people that raised you, you have their last name, but if you felt like there need to be other things done, they would actually go in and do paperwork and make sure that you are 100% adopted, if you will. This can be situated, can be done simple and easy. I don't think it's something to stress about. I think it's something that's actually a cool thing that you have bonus family. You have two families, potentially two families that will love you. One family that has not seen you in who knows how long, and now they get to see you again. Hey, Devin. Ever since I got together with my partner, my family has been weirdly cold towards me. Recently, I found out why. They think the reason their family, they think, okay, I've already read this email. We're not even going to go here. This one, you're deleted, Dawn. Family curses, you're a family curse. I don't know how I doubled up. I do know. Let's go. Keep looking. Okay, this is a good one. Hey, Devin. I accidentally overheard my partner's family talking about how much they dislike me. They were saying things like, I'm not good enough and I don't belong in their family. And now I don't know how to face them at the next family event. Should I confront them or just let it go? I don't want to put my partner in the middle of this, but it's hard to act like everything is fine now. Here's the deal. I am just that kind of spiteful person that I would show up anyway. Especially when people say you don't belong, then that tells me I'm going to prove that I belong and screw you guys. So, and then once you show that you should be there, and then they start liking you, then you can just either choose to hang out with them or not. But don't let this, like you said, I wouldn't use this as a crutch to make a wedge between you and the family, or you and your partner and the family. I would use this as an ability to prove them that you are better than they expected. And honestly, you're probably better than they expect anyway, but they just do things weird. That's what it comes down to. There's the old adage and the old joke of what's the difference between in-laws and outlaws? Well, outlaws are wanted. That fits into this whole section right here. They are your in-laws or whatever, and do your thing. It's that simple. Stop worrying about what they care, what they think. I know it's human nature to want to be accepted. It's human nature to wanting to be able to be part of something. But don't force it. If they don't want you to be part of it, just be there and support your partner and go from there. People can be jerks. So because people can be jerks, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Yeah. Hey Devin, my best friend who just got engaged confessed that they are in love with me. I didn't see this coming at all, and now I'm confused and don't know how to react. They've been with their partner for years and I don't want to ruin the relationship, but I also don't know how to move forward with our friendship after this bombshell. How do I handle this situation? Okay, if your friend just got engaged confesses they love you and you love them too, then first of all, they need to break up with they break the engagement off, for one, because you guys have been friends for probably longer than they've been together, and so they know you a lot more than what they knew that their person that they've been engaged with. This literally screams Hallmark movie, but it's just an engagement, and I hate to say that it's just an engagement, but that's it. So you can do this. It's okay. You can make this into something. If you want it to be something, you can make this into something. And if you want to make this into something, you can get the engagement can be broken. It's not, engagements are just engagements. It's not set in stone. Now, if they start spending a crap ton of money, then that's a problem. But you just can't. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not telling you for them to cheat, but they've already started down that path. I would get them clarity on the situation. I would ask about why they told you that they love you, and ask why they didn't tell you before. Because now you can say, I don't want to be in the middle, mess this up for you and your who you're with. So make them do the legwork. And if they want to break it off because they are confused about their current their relationship may not be good with the person that they're with. And if it's not, they shouldn't be in that relationship. And they should probably just move on. That's the reality. So, yeah. If they said they love you, believe them and make them do the legwork. Because it's just an engagement. Sounds horrible to say that, but it's true. Hey Devin, so I found out my parents are swingers. Double take here. I stumbled across some messages on photos on their computer by accident, and now I'm shocked. I had no idea they were into that lifestyle. And I'm not sure what to do with this information. Do I pretend I never saw it? Or do I confront them? I'm completely freaked out and don't know how to look at them the same way again. Here's the thing. If I ever found out my parents were swingers, I would be floored. My question is, what part of Utah are you from? If you're in the South Jordan Daybreak area, this makes total sense because the upside down pineapple stuff is a real thing here, and it just blows my mind because that's just wrong. I mean, I hate to say it, the fact that your parents are still together, but they're doing this stuff, that tells me one thing, that they don't really have that. Their love for each other is not where it should be, to be honest. And they're staying together for convenience and not doing anything else. No, you're absolutely right. Swinging is just an excuse for two people who want to cheat. Ethan, that is literally the straight up truth. Swinging in Savannah is ultra common. Yeah, no, I believe it. I mean, here in Utah, there's an area that, I mean, you drive through the neighborhood and they literally advertise it on their front porch. They have the pineapples and they're all upside down, and that's how you know. I have Yeah, I know of people who are part of that, who were part of that, or wanted to be part of that here in Utah, which is kind of crazy. I don't. I've been with my wife so long that, well, even when we were together a short amount of time, there's nothing that I would ever want to do to mess that up. And people who jump into this stuff, into these things, and they mess it up, like doing that, it's insane. It makes zero sense to me why anyone would ever want to do that. So, being that you're a kid of parents that then you found out they did it, you can talk to your parents about it, but it's not going to change what they do. I mean, you can confront them and say, "Hey, what's up with this? Why are you doing this? This is just beyond weird and bizarre." And how long you can ask all those questions, but the thing is, why do you really want to know those questions? I guarantee you don't. So if anything, you just you just think about it. And this is the life crushing part of the whole scenario, is to know that your parents are not who you thought they were, but if they raised you to be different and good, then take the solace in the fact that you don't want to do that kind of stuff, and your parents are crazy. That's my advice. You can ask all you want, but why would you want to? I wouldn't even ask them. Let it fly under the radar. Let them think that you don't know. And then when and if your parents ever said they're going to get divorced, then you can say, okay, well, that makes sense. And then they say, what do you mean that makes sense? Well, you could bring up, say you guys were swingers. I don't know. I can tell you right now, I don't know many people who are swingers how their relationships last, because they usually don't. Because when you're putting on other people's greens, it just doesn't work. You can't do that. It's not right. Not right. So, hey, Devin, my twin brother and I were close, but recently I found out he's been using my identity to rack up debt in my name. My credit is ruined. I don't know how to confront him, and I feel so betrayed. And I'm afraid confronting him will tear our family apart. How do I even begin to repair my financial life and my relationship with him after something like this? Here's the thing. You have a choice. You can do nothing and deal with it and pay off the debts, or you can do the right thing and you can get the guy locked up. Stealing your identity, you don't do that to people. You don't ruin their credit, especially in this day and age of finances, how things are so bad. And it's really hard to even to get a house these days. You have to have you have a ton of money down. It just doesn't work. So he needs to pay these things off. He probably needs to be put in jail, and he needs to be held accountable. Accountability is everything in life. And I think that's what people forget. We forget that accountability is literally the key to success. So if your twin brother stole your identity and he's screwing up your credit, he needs to be held accountable. That's my opinion. Now, you can do what you may consider the honorable thing and just figure it out and not worry about it. But the thing is, there's already a rift in the family. You're saying this is going to tear the family apart. It's already screwing you over. And if your other siblings or your parents found out, they would be pissed too. I mean, you just don't do that. The right thing is always going to be the right thing, and the fact that you're now being held accountable for his financial decisions, that's horrible. Bottom line is accountability. Without accountability, we have nothing. Without accountability, we're no different than Neanderthals. And actually, if you look at some history, according to scientists, Neanderthals actually did have a good bit of accountability. When someone did something wrong, the group or that they were in would hold those people accountable. It's simple, basic laws. Hey, Devin, I recently found a second phone hidden in my spouse's things, and I have no idea why they have it. We've always been open with each other, but it feels like a huge secret. I haven't confronted them yet because I'm terrified of what the truth might be. whether it's an affair or something even darker. Well, what would be darker? How do I handle this without letting my imagination run wild? Well, your already imagination is running wild because you're already saying it could be darker. The reality is this. So your spouse could be cheating 100%. That is 100% true. Your spouse could be cheating. Could be. Doesn't mean that they are. I know a lot of people that have multiple phones and they're not doing in that. They just, they wanted to have one phone. Well, I have a friend of mine. He has a phone for Uber and he has a phone for music. And he has, so they're not intertwined, so the notifications don't come through on one phone. He has that on another phone. Now there's that reason. Now I also have know several people like that have phones because their work requires them to have a phone, and they don't want to pay for their personal cell phone, so they give them another phone. So this could be work related. So let's look at it on the good side. Work related, it could be it's just easier to manage life a little bit, but that's the good side. Now, the bad side, yes, he could be having, your spouse could be having an affair. And you got a choice. You can bring it up and say, don't go into, if you bring it up, don't go into it all accusatory. Go into it at the way of just saying, hey, I found this other phone. What's up with this? And they'll say, oh, it's for work. Okay, it's that cool. Okay. And then if you're still not sure and you kind of want to be snoopy, call his work, talk to his boss, say, hey, my phone got wiped clean. If you're going to you'll have to lie, and I'm not a proponent of lying, but you can say, but do you have whatever your spouse's name is, their work number? If they say, oh no, that work number, then you know. But if they, oh yeah, here's the work number, and then we'll go get that out. Not that you don't know your spouse's telephone number, because I think everybody should have that memorized, but I guess some people don't. But whatever. But yeah, it's simple. You got to be able to, if you want some clarity, you just got to do it, right? You got to be able to, you need to be, if you want the clarity, then you got to make sure that you do the things that give you that clarity. And to give you that clarity, it's going to require you to get snoopy within that world. Simple as that. Snoop around, make it happen. Yeah. Hey, Devin, I moved into a new home a few months ago, and I keep finding strange things, hidden compartments, weird stains, and even found what looks like old surveillance camera in one of the vents. I'm starting to think this place was used for something illegal before I bought it. Should I investigate it further or just let it go? I'm a little freaked out. Investigate it. It's your house. You bought the house. If there's some crap going on in your house, figure it out. If there's cameras in your house and you bought this place, they may be live. They may be recording and looking at you during and everything you do. So yeah, investigate it. It's your house. Now, if you find out the house was used for cooking meth, then you probably need to get out, because that literally can kill you. That's why that stuff seeps into everything, and you literally can die. So. Yeah, it's your house. Whatever. Do it, make it happen. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Hey, Devin, I've been with my partner for 5 years, and now, out of nowhere, a woman showed up at our door claiming to be his wife and had kids with her. I had no idea he was married, let alone had a family, had a whole other family. Now I'm questioning everything about our relationship. Do I confront him or just leave without even giving him a chance to explain it? I'm completely blindsided. Here's the thing: if you find out your spouse has another family and their family showed up at your door, then they knew about you, but you didn't know about them. Okay, so you were spouse number one, they were spouse number two. Pack your crap, take your family, move on, then serve him with papers. He's already got a second family, serve him with papers and then collect some money. Simple as that. Because there's no tolerance. There's zero tolerance in the world for a person that's going to cheat like that. That just doesn't work. Yeah. Oh, more cheaters. Cheaters everywhere. Let's see what else. Hey, Devin. My ex's new partner has been sending me threatening messages saying I need to stay away from my ex or there will be consequences. The thing is, I haven't been contacting I haven't I have not been I have not been in contact with my ex at all since we broke up. I'm scared, but I don't know if I should confront them, involve involve my ex, or even go to the police. What is the best way to handle this without making it worse? If your ex's new partners is telling you you need to back off, they got major insecurities and they need to just get the heck out of Dodge. This is why are people so crazy? I don't understand. Simple, plain and simple. Here's what you got to do. You go to the phone and you block that number. Simple as that. You go to your ex's phone and you block that number too. Because then they can message you all you want and you won't have any, there will be no proof on your side that it went through, and you can just walk away free and clear. If they show up at the door, then you call the cops and you have them arrested for harassment. But other than that, block their number, move on with your life. It's okay. Yes, crazy people do exist, but you're going to be fine. Don't allow bad people to ruin your life. There's too much garbage going on in the world for you to sit back and worry about the things that an ex and their new significant other may do. You just got to live your life and be happy. People are crazy. Let them. You don't have to be involved in their craziness. Just walk away. Block the number and move on. Hey, Devin. I started to notice a pattern in my dating life, and I'm hoping you can shed some light on it. Every time I start to seeing a guy and things seem to be going well, he eventually pulls away. At first, I thought it was just coincidence, but now it's happened so often that I'm beginning to wonder if I'm missing something. It's not like we have major arguments or red flags. In fact, most of the time, it feels like we're getting closer. But right when things were on the verge of something deeper, they either say they need space or just stop making an effort. It's frustrating because they never seem to be moving towards they never seem to be moving towards another relationship. They are withdrawing and prefer being alone. I'm starting to wonder if it's me or if it's just how dating goes these days. Why do men seem to step away from women when everything seems fine? What am I missing here? Here's the thing. Men are pretty simple, but also the men can be pretty complex. The problem is we have a factor here, and what seems to be the common denominator would actually be you. And I mean this in no disrespect, but if you've been dating multiple people and they tend to just stop caring and stepping back, and then or they say that they want to have some space, then there's something big. There's a bigger picture here. You got to reevaluate yourself. You need to look at yourself and figure out what's going on, because men in general only need a few things. They need action in the bedroom. They need good food, and they need to know that the person that they're with is willing to have a conversation and loves them. And that means respect. Those are literally the only three things that men need. Now, I'm not a proponent of premarital sex, so I'll say that right there. But that being said, if you're giving him two of those three, with the potential of the third one happening when marriage happens or whatever, the reality is he won't step away. So what are you doing in your life that's forcing all these people to go away? You know, I have a friend of mine. He's been married 3 times. And out of these 3 times he's been married, he's dating this new lady, and he said to me once, he said, I think I may want to marry this woman. I was like, okay, that's cool. He says, but I'm nervous. What if it doesn't work out? And I looked him in his eyes and I said, dude, here's the deal. You've been married 3 other times. This would make this 25%. I'm going to say it very simply. If you can't make this one work, then you need to look in the mirror before you even go into this one and say, what's the problem? Because the problem is probably staring you in the eyes. You are the problem. I'm a firm believer that any relationship can work if 2 people are willing to make it happen. If a guy's pulling away, there's probably something going on that he's not liking. And men just won't, if they have somebody that they can talk to, but if they open up to you and they the problem with men's emotions are insane. Yes, we have emotions. Men's emotions, they need to be validated just as much as women's emotions need to be validated, but men typically don't talk about their emotions for the fact that when they do, a lot of women use those emotions as a weapon, and they weaponize it against the man. So what happens to men? They bottle that up. They don't want to talk about things. They push it to the side until they just have to back away. And because they may have liked you, but then they back away. So one, are you validating his emotions? Are you comforting him when he needs comfort? Because guys go through crap. If you look at the number one thing in our society that's honestly picked on, it's usually men. Men get a bad rap. I can't remember the lady's name, but she dressed up as a man to see how bad it was for men, and she actually had it where she went in and she don't want to do that. Whatever. I did messed up. Whatever. She goes in and she said, I'm out. I don't want to do this. And because she saw how poorly men were treated. So if that's happening to you and you're not treating the men you're dating the right way, they're going to pull away. Men just need to know that they've got someone that's going to take care of them. That's all it is. It's not that difficult. Women need a little bit more. One thing, okay, here's the thing. The biggest difference I've noticed, women will talk about their emotions. Women will talk about their problems, and they'll open up about things, and they'll talk to their spouse, they'll talk to their friends, all these different things, right? When the woman comes to a man and they have a problem, there is a knee-jerk reaction for men, okay? Women know how to solve their problems most of the time. But when a woman asks a man, hey, can we talk about a problem? The man's brain says, okay, problem solving time. So she goes in and she says, hey, this is what's going on. This is how I feel. This is what do I think, what I think I should do. And this is how it goes. The knee-jerk reaction for a man is, here's how I would do this. Here's how I would fix this problem. When the woman actually knows how she wants to fix the problem. She's just venting. That's all she's doing. So that being said, a man, for him to understand what's going on, he needs to wait for follow-up questions. So a woman would say something like, this is the problem. This is what I think I should do. What do you think? Now there's the follow-up question. That follow-up question opens up the door for you as a man to say, here's what's going on. Here's what I would do, and here's how I would solve this. But you know better than I do because you're in the situation where I'm not. So this is my 2 cents. If this can apply, then do it. If not, change it, alter it to make it fit for you. That's the difference. Now, if a man comes to his wife or his girlfriend and he opens up about a problem, a lot of the times that woman won't be there to help him solve the problem. She'll be there as a listening ear, but then that goes into the memory banks of, hey, he is now emotionally challenged and I don't want to deal with this. It almost becomes a negative thing for them. Now, this doesn't happen always, but this is a lot of the cases. So if that is the case and you want to use these things against him, if this is what's happening, if you're using, when a man opens up to you and you're using it as a weapon, you're in the wrong. You need to do better. Your significant other deserves something better. So if you feel like men are pulling away from you because, quietly, what's that quiet quitting, the thing that a lot of, I guess, Gen Zs and millennials or whatever are doing these days. So they just stay at the job until they get fired. Essentially, they quiet quit. If your man is quiet quitting from you, then there's something you need to change. And it can be better. And they're willing to stick around. A guy will stick around if he feels that there is a potential thing to save. He will stick around and not do anything. He will be there for you. He won't quiet quit. He may start quiet quitting, but if you start putting in the effort and building him up and making him better than what he already is in the right way, and not using his potentially emotional damage baggage that he has against him, then he will move mountains for you. You guys will be the most wealthy people out there. Now, I'm not trying to bag on you by any means, but if this is the case, if this is the pattern and guys keep backing away, then probably you are the problem. And so reevaluate your life, reevaluate how you treat people, reevaluate all of that stuff. And honestly, it will be better. It will work out how you would like it to, and you'll be fine. That's my opinion. I mean, if you treat a man right, he will move mountains for you. That's simple as that. Yeah. Hey, Devin, I need your advice on something, and honestly, I can't tell if I'm being totally irrational or if my feelings are justified. There's this guy I've been hanging out with, and I really like him. He's super sweet, and we get along great, and I could see us becoming something more than just friends. The only problem, he has a close female friend that he spends a lot of time with. He swears they're just friends, and there's nothing more to it. But I can't help feeling a little jealous. They have this bond, these inside jokes, and something I feel like and sometimes I feel like I'm on the outside looking in. It's like no matter how much time we spend together, she's always there, even if it's just in the background. Am I being that girl who's overthinking everything, or is there something to be worried about here? I don't want to be the jealous type, but I also don't want to ignore red flags. How do I tell the difference between genuine friendship and something I should be concerned about? Thanks. Okay, here's the thing. I've heard people say it is impossible for guys and girls to be friends. I think that's wrong. I think guys can be friends with girls. And I say that because my daughter, she has more guy friends than she does girls that are friends. And all those guys know that they are friends. And that's it. Only friends. There should be a channel, a website called Only Friends. Sorry, that's bad. Knowing that they're friends. Okay, think about it this way. Your best friend, probably female, she knows all your inside jokes. She knows all of your, idiosyncrasies, all the things that make you guys up, right? What's the difference here? Right? What's the difference? The difference is you're irritated because he's friends with another female. I'm going to tell you, you being a woman and you're jealous of another woman, tell me how that's going to work out. Do you think he's going to choose you over his friend he's had for years? Or do you think he's going to tell his friend, get lost, she's better? If you want an in on this, if you really truly want that in, your in is his best friend. You make an impact on her. Even if you say you don't believe that they're just friends and you can't, and that you're struggling with that, then the problem is you're the problem. This is something that can be handled. This is something that can be done, but you have to be willing to put in the effort. And honestly, you need to be friends with his best friend. Because especially if his best friend is a girl, then that girl, she has all the inside knowledge that you need on how you can get connected with that guy. Now, on the other side, if she senses that you got different motives and you potentially could end up being bad for him, she's going to protect him like no other. And you'll be pushed out on the outside. There's no way around that. That is just that, that's, if I would do that for my friends. If I had a friend that needed me to ask my opinion of his potential wife or whatever, I'll tell him straight up, hey, she's crazy. Or, hey, she's a good person. You should do that. I mean, I'll play matchmaker all day long. I don't care. Being a matchmaker is kind of cool. No, I mean, seriously though, if that's your in, if you want an in with this guy, you need to go after and become friends with his friend. Because in reality, when it's all said and done, that'll be your friend forever. You guys will have so much, you'll have more in common. You'll end up with all the inside jokes with each other. She will tell his best friend that's a female will tell you everything you need to know about him and what you should do to make sure he's taken care of. That's where you need to be. So you're overthinking this. My opinion, you're overthinking this and you're thinking about this wrong. This has the potential to be something completely amazing for you, that you could have incredible, relationship with two awesome people, what it sounds like to me. Seriously. My opinion. That's the way to do it. Hey, Devin. I'm in a bit of a situation. I honestly don't know what to do. A few weeks ago, my girlfriend told me she's pregnant. Normally, that would be exciting news, except for one small detail. I had a vasectomy 2 years ago. Now, I haven't told her about the vasectomy because I haven't told her about the vasectomy because it never really came up. And we've only been together for about a year. So when she dropped the pregnancy bomb, I didn't know how to react. I just smiled and congratulated her. But inside, I was freaking out. I've been reading up on vasectomies, and I know there's a slim chance that it could fail. But still, I can't shake the feeling that something doesn't add up. Should I confront her about it? Should I get retested to be sure? I have no idea how to approach this without things blowing up. Any advice on how to handle this would be seriously appreciated. Okay, in the slight chance that the vasectomy did not work, then what I would do, honestly, go to the doctor, because he's technically, he could be held accountable for it, right? Because you paid for a service, and if the service didn't take, he needs to make that right. So now if the vasectomy did take, then you need to go have a nice frank discussion with your lady friend. And you can tell her, I've had a vasectomy a couple of years ago and there's no way. And if she insists that it is yours, say, okay, here's the deal. I'll help. I'll be responsible. But once the child's here, I do want a DNA test, and that has nothing to do with you. This has to prove that my doctor did not do the job right. So there's that. And if the doctor didn't do his job right, then we both know. And that's okay. But don't get mad about this. The thing is, and I don't know why we don't do this in our society. I think that every child, no matter what, that is born in this country, now will be probably considered controversial. I know that my children are my children. I know that my wife has not been with anybody else other than me, and so my children are my children. That being said, I do believe that every child born in this country, along with the process of having the baby, I think a paternity test should be done on every one of them. And the reason I say this is because then there is no question whatsoever, and it's not like it costs a lot of money. This is just make this part of the process. You spend money on everything when it comes to having a kid. So having a paternity test on your child when the child's born should be standard practice. I don't know why it's not. I think it's insane that we don't do that. I think it's the right thing. And we got modern technology, let's use it. And then so when it comes down and you find out that you're not the dad, then you know. Plain and simple. Because again, it comes down to accountability. If women want men to be held accountable for their actions and they want them to pay for the kid no matter what, well, guess what? Do the test. And if the test shows that he's the father of the kid, no problem. He's going to pay. Simple as that. You guys you tangoed, and when you tangoed, you got pregnant, he should be man enough to follow through and pay for it. Now, on the other side, this does happen. Some women sleep with a lot of men, and they get pregnant with one of those guys' babies, and they may be with someone during that process, but that guy gets screwed. Simple as that. I don't think men should be bank accounts for women who are broke. Simple. And that's controversial, I guess. But you shouldn't try to lock a guy up because you want some of his cash. Women need to be held accountable just as much as men do. And I know people will disagree with this and they'll tell me how wrong I am for saying that. But the right thing is always going to be the right thing. And the wrong thing is always going to be the wrong thing. You have to be willing to submit to accountability when it comes to things in your life. Especially when it has to do with a little child. And if you're that bad of a mother, and I'm going to say it, you're that bad of a person and that bad of a mother that you're going to sit back and try to ruin not just his life, the potential father's life, and make him pay for a kid that's not his, you're also going to ruin that kid's life that for the fact that he's going to think that the wrong person is their dad. Now, honestly, you may have slept with a person that's a bad person, and then you want the good guy to be the dad. Well, I understand that, but why couldn't you be the good person and stay with the good person instead of going with the jackass that you slept with? It's not right. So in this situation, dude, I'm sorry. That's what you do. It's accountability. If the kid is yours, that means the doctor screwed up, and then but you got a kid. Congratulations. Kids are awesome. I love my kids. I wouldn't change them for the world. Wouldn't trade them. They are mine. I love them to death. Now, if the kid's not yours, then that's the conversation you got to have. You probably could be the good guy, and she had a fling with the bad guy. Guess what? You make your bed, sleep in it. Simple and easy. I don't know. That's my thinking. And then, again, accountability is the key thing to a happy, successful life. If you can't be accountable for the simple things in your life, then you're not going to progress. You're not going to be successful. You're not going to be able to make the money that you need to make because you're always blaming your problems on somebody else. That's the reality here. You have to be able to say, hey, you know what? I messed up. I'm going to do the right thing, and I will fix it. It's that simple. That's the simple part. Hey, Devin, my partner has recently started hanging out with this strange group of people who have really intense beliefs about the world ending soon. Okay. At first, I thought it was just a phase, but now they're talking about quitting their job, moving to a remote compound with this group. I'm scared they're getting sucked into a cult and don't know how to pull them back. How do I help them see this is dangerous? Okay. This is scary because there's a lot of people out there that will tell you everything's going to end. Here's okay. If you're a religious person, you know that there's no way, according to the scriptures, to know when the end of days are going to be here. Now, should you live your life according to that? Sure. We need to live our lives in the right way. That if you're a religious person, you live your life in the right way, that it would not have that you are prepared for the things to come. Sure. I don't know. The only time I know where something like this happened was a little town called Jonestown. And Jonestown was a bad thing because what was it? 900 members of the temple of the People's Temple cult died. Jim Jones. So, if you're truly concerned about your friend, your partner, if you're truly concerned about your partner, you need to make sure that they understand this. History tends to repeat itself, and groups of people like this tend to go off the crazy path. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with being prepared for the future things, no matter what. Even if you're not religious, there's nothing wrong with being prepared for things that could happen. I mean, if our economy crashed tomorrow, do you have enough money that you can live off of? That's a real question. Most people do not. And if our economy crashed, then your dollar's going to be worth nothing anyway. So how are you going to survive? So that being said, what can you do now to prepare yourself for things if they were to happen? If we lost electricity, say we had a solar flare, which do happen. It is a real thing. It is documented. If we went without power for any amount of time, could you survive? Would you have the things that you need? Most people in this country, I can tell you, they do not. Most people in this country would probably die if it was for a long extended period of time. Now, I am no doomsday dweller by any means, but the reality is this. There's nothing wrong with being prepared for the future, for anything in the future. And what are you out? A few dollars? Okay, I've got some bottled water put away. I've got some a little bit of extra food storage on the side, things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually perfectly fine. But there are things that can go to the extreme, like moving into a compound with a group of people that are take this to an extreme. That would be a red flag, and I would honestly, you need to have a just firm, strong talk. And you says your partner on here. This could be the end game for you guys, because it depends on how you guys are partners. Meaning, I'm assuming it's a relationship deal. This may end your relationship. So there's that. I mean, the relationship could be, and I hate to say it, but this could be the thing that tips your relationship over the edge to the wrong way. So you got to be careful. This is not going to be an easy conversation, but it needs to be a conversation. This needs to be something that is being said and talked about, because history tends to repeat itself. So there's that. Hey, Devin, I was cleaning my apartment and found a hidden camera in the walls. Oh, wow. Sorry, let me read this again. Hey, Devin, I was cleaning my apartment and found a hidden camera in my living room. I rent a place and I have no idea how long it's been there or who put it there. I feel completely violated and scared. Do I go to the police, confront the landlord? I'm not sure who to trust, but I'm terrified someone has been watching me. Absolutely call the cops right now. Get it done. Contact them and let them know. So yeah, hold on. I can. Sorry, my son is texting me. Looks like he's having some problems at with the gas station. So just send him back. The thing is, if someone has put a camera in your house and you don't know about it, the place that you rent, you need to contact the police. The police need to know, and because they can hopefully trace it back to wherever it's being recorded. Put something in front of the camera for now. Hide it so they're not looking at you. So that's what that's what you got to do. You got to protect yourself. Personal protection is the key thing when it comes to anything in life. Yeah. But yes, you need to call the cops. You need to get this done and you need to move on. Anyway, sorry. All right, let's go to here. Let's see. Okay. Hey, Devin. My ex and I broke up a year ago, but now they're dating my sibling. At first, I thought it was fine. I thought I was fine with it, but every time I see them together, it feels like a punch in the gut. I'm still trying to heal, and this is making it impossible. How do I get over my feelings without ruining the relationship between you and your sibling, me and my sibling, and my ex? Forget your ex. Who cares? Your ex is being a jerk, and they're dating your sibling, and there's nothing you can do. Your sibling is dating your ex, and there's nothing you can do. Only thing you can do is just not worry about it. I mean, you can deal with the drama, you can move on from there, and you can just not worry about it, because that's kind of a sucky thing to do, to have your sibling to date your ex, but it is what it is, right? But then on the other side, if they're an ex for a reason, and if you have an ex and they're an ex for a reason, then you just say, hey, I don't care. We didn't work out. And and you think in your head, this is why it didn't work out. And then if it doesn't work out with your sibling, I mean, this sounds like some teenage, honestly, some teenage high school crap anyway. So let me tell you this. If you guys are teenagers and this is what's going on, I'll tell you right now, don't count on it lasting anyway, because think about your teenage years. Are you married to your teenage sweetheart? I'm going to say you're probably not. Your parents are probably not you. But if this is just a teenage deal, telling you, your teenage years are just one little small blip in your life, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. So if your ex is dating your sibling, get over it. Your sibling's doing stupid things, and they're going to find out why they became your ex anyway. So an ex is an ex, and it's always going to be that way. Who cares? Hey, Devin, I found out a huge secret about my boss, something that could ruin their career, and now they're blackmailing me to keep it quiet. I feel trapped because I don't want to lose my job or get into a legal mess, but I also don't want to be part of this cover-up. How do I protect myself while also doing the right thing? So the thing is, this is considered under the Whistleblower Act, essentially. And if they're doing something that's completely wrong and it's illegal, the Whistleblower Act protects you like no other. So they can't do anything to you. They can make threats. Your boss can make any threat he wants. He can try to blackmail you all you want, unless you've done nothing. If you've done nothing wrong, they got nothing on you. Now, if they're going to try to blame it on you, then you have to have the evidence to prove otherwise. So you need to go contact a lawyer, look up the Whistleblower Act, find someone that can help you with that, and go talk to them and then get this growing that way. And then let them figure it out from there. Because if he's doing something illegal and then he's blackmailing you about it, this can be easily solved and taken care of. You don't have to worry about it. And again, it's like if a person's doing something wrong and they're doing something illegal, call them out on it. Again, especially in a business, you can it boggles the mind, the things that people do, but I know people are people and they'll always do really what's wrong when it comes to, especially when they're lying. When people are liars, they will try to always cover up a lie, and that lie ends up getting bigger and bigger and bigger because it has to, because they don't want to ever admit the truth. So in this case, your boss has got, you found out a secret on your boss, and they're doing something bad. You're covered under the Whistleblower Act. You're going to be fine. It may not be easy, but in the end, it'll be worth it. And then who knows, you may end up with a better job. So call the guy out, get rid of him, and do it the right way and get yourself covered legally. There won't be a problem. Yeah. Hey, Devin, I've been with my partner for 2 years, and we've always lived in a modest life together. But I just found out that they're secretly incredibly rich. They never told me, and I only found out when I came across some documents by accident. I feel betrayed because they hid such a huge part of their life from me. How do I even begin to have this conversation without turning it into a fight? Why would you fight about that? Okay, here's the deal. If you're dating a guy and they didn't tell you that they had a crap ton of money, and then but they're still treating you with respect, and they're taking you out in places, and they're buying you dinner, and you're dating, and you guys are hitting it off, and you guys have been together for 2 years, why are you complaining? That seems crazy. Because I can tell you, I can look at it from his side. From his side, he's going, I've got a lot of money. How do I know if this person actually likes me for who I am versus my money? It's amazing. So I just finished filming a TV show. And this TV show, there was a lot of money that was involved, to the tune of millions of dollars. I do know some of the people that have won some of the money, and I do know some of the people that have taken and no, they haven't received the money quite yet, but they have won some money. They get the money within 180 days. That's based on the contract that we signed that says what they can do. Now, the funny part is, I was talking to some of these younger kids that went further and I know for a fact that made a large sum of money. The part that is incredible is simple. I told them, do not tell anyone that you want any money. They're going to eventually find out, right? And then when people find out, then you're going to find out how many friends you actually have. And then when they find out, when you find out how many friends you actually have, what I'm talking about is all those people that are going in and saying, hey, can I borrow some money? Or, hey, I have this great idea for a business. Or, hey, you've got this many dollars. You could spare a little bit, couldn't you? Those people are toxic. No one is entitled to your money. And honestly, that's kind of where this guy is coming from. I think he's looking at this going, you know what? I don't need to talk about how much the amount of money that he has is irrelevant to the point of if he's treating you with respect and he's treating you right. Has no effect on if you're treating him right or wrong. He did it because he's trying to protect himself from people who want to just who like him just for the fact that he has some money. So think about it from his side. I mean, I can see your side too, like, oh, I feel betrayed. Why do you feel betrayed? I don't, I understand where you're coming from, because you're like, well, we should be open with each other. We should talk about these things with each other. This is something that we should always be open about. If you end up marrying this guy, I 100% guarantee, because you were loyal to him, not because of the money, but because of who he is, there will never ever be anything hidden from you. He didn't hide this from you. He just didn't talk about it. How many first dates do you go on to? Do you tell everybody about you're crazy? Think about it. If you're going on a date with somebody, you never tell them everything there is about you. Because if you do, you're going to scare that person off. That's the sad reality. Now, is that right? No, because I think I'm a firm believer in being open with people and telling them how things are, so you know where you stand. But there does have to be an element of protection. It's just like earlier when we were talking about men's emotions. Men are usually blocked off, and they don't share their emotions with women up front at first anyway, because their emotions get weaponized against them. Because a lot of women, not all women, a lot of women will weaponize that emotion and that what they would consider a weakness to that guy. They would tell that guy that, you know what, now that I know that you feel this way, you're not the alpha that I thought you would be. What kind of a jerk is that? So I'm going to call you out on this. You're mad because the guy that you're dating for 2 years has a lot of money. Shut up. I'm dead serious. You need to, if you loved him before he had money, just think how great it's going to be now that you know that you're going to be financially set. If you guys were to get married, your financial situation is going to be the most beautiful thing ever. But on the other side, you got to be good with money too. If you're blowing your money like crazy, like it's, going out of style, that's a test. The reality is you could screw yourself over by not knowing how to manage a dollar. And most people in this country do not know how to manage a dollar. They just know, hey, I got $30 in my bank account, so that means I can get $20 in gas and I got $10 for fast food. And then they're broke again. That's not the way to live. You have to start. We as in our society need to learn how to manage money to the point where we know that. I know that when I'm old, and all my kids are out of the house, I want to be able to make sure that I have X amount of dollars so I don't have to work. So if your partner has money where he doesn't have to work, but he continues to work, he's going to protect you and save you. Now, but if you're the type of person that's going to blow all of his money, be prepared. You're not going to be the one he's going to end up with. And the fact that you're upset about that he has money and he never told you, honestly, that's a red flag for him to see about you. It's not a red flag for you. You think it's a red flag because you feel like he's been secretive about you, but he's just protecting himself. It's like it would be me like going to any random person out there and say, hey, here, I'm gonna give you my debit card. There's money in the account. Just don't spend any money. Some people would not spend the money, but some people like, it's just a drink. I can buy myself a drink. It's $2. And I'll just tell them, hey, I borrowed $2. No big deal. It is a big deal because it wasn't your money. I just wanted you to hold my card. So yeah, this is not a problem for him. It's a problem for you. You're the one with the problem. You got to get over yourself. Hey, Devin. My friend has been talking to someone online for a few months, and I'm convinced they're being catfished. The person they're talking to keeps asking for money, won't video chat, and has all these suspicious excuses. I've tried to warn my friend, but they won't listen and are totally convinced this person is real. How do I get it through to them before they get hurt? Here's the thing. If you've seen the signs and you've told your friend what's going on, and you've told them, all these are what's going on. This is how this happens. This is what's going on. And that friend doesn't listen, there's nothing you can do. They're in love with a fictional person. They're willing to give them money and hurt themselves financially. That's all on them. Now, you could be that friend that says, I told you so. But do you want to be that person? You probably don't. And you probably could do that, but why would you? I mean, if you don't want to be the person, the I told you so person, then don't be the I told you so person. What you can do is say, when they get screwed over, say, man, I'm sorry that happened to you. I guess you know better now. I mean, It's a sucky situation. We want to protect our friends, and we want to make sure that our friends are always going to do things, but they still have their own agency. And if they choose to not listen and they choose to give some random person a bunch of cash, even though you've told them you're getting catfished and they're going to just take your money and run. If you've told them that, you've done your due diligence. Now it just comes down to them being accountable for their own actions. And sadly, accountability tends to bite you when you're doing the wrong thing. Yeah. Hey, Devin, I've been with my partner for over a decade and just found out they've been lying about their age the entire time. It's not just a little lie either. They're 10 years older than they told me. I don't even know who I married. I don't even know who I'm married to anymore. How do I rebuild trust after finding out something this huge has been hidden from me for a long time? Okay, I'm going to say it. You guys have been good on this one. This has been amazing. But the problem is when you get married, you do have to see documents to show birth years and birth dates. So thank you for trying. You tried to trick me on this one, but you didn't because I can see right through it. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Yeah. Sorry. And if this is real, you'll reach out to me again and tell me I'm an idiot, but that's fine. So, yeah, there's that. Hey, Devin, I've been friends with this amazing person for years. And over time, I've fallen in love with them. The problem is, I'm terrified of telling them how I feel because I don't want to ruin our friendship, and I don't feel the same. And if they don't feel the same, we're really close, and I don't want to lose what we have, but keeping these feelings bottled up is starting to hurt. How do I know if I should take the risk and tell them? Here's the thing, a lot of people fall in love with their best friends because their best friends know everything there is about them, right? Now, if you're afraid you're going to lose the friend, which do you value the most? That's the reality. That's what it comes down to. What is the most important thing for you? Getting those feelings inside that are starting to hurt out, or the potential to lose a friend. Can it work? It absolutely can. And it is a risk you have to take. Now, you can make a move and tell them how you feel. And if they don't feel the same, you can get past that. That may hurt worse than bottling it up. But then at least you know you have the clarity. I mean, having that clarity means a lot. Sometimes bottling feelings up, it can cause ulcers. So you probably want to tell them. But again, what do you value the most? Do you value your friendship, or do you value the fact that you feel like there should be more? And honestly, they could feel the same way. And the only way to find out is to talk to them. So I believe in taking chances. So take the chance. I'd take the chance and then but be willing to have a backup plan on what you're going to do and what you're going to say if they don't feel the same. And if they don't feel the same, okay. Figure out how to fix the solution and be friends. And it can be done. You can do it. You just have to change your mindset on how it works and say, you know what? Fine, it's not going to work. I would rather have this friendship, because having friendship is honestly maybe better anyway. That's what I would do. What else we got? More people that want to cheat. There's a lot of cheaters in these emails. Okay, the subject of this email was called "My partner is perfect on paper, but something feels off." I'll read that one. Hey, Devin, I'm in a relationship with someone who is, by all accounts, perfect on paper. They're kind, supportive. Everyone tells me how lucky I am, but something feels off. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if it's just me overthinking things, or if there's a deeper issue I'm not seeing. How do I trust my gut when everything should be perfect? So here's the thing. How many times have you been burned in a relationship? That's my real question. That's really what it comes down to. It sounds like you have potential trust issues. Because there are good people out there. Good men do exist. And the fact that you're overthinking it may be the cause of you to have something that's awesome and great go away. You should probably feel lucky that you have someone like this guy. Or actually this girl. But on the other side, sometimes you're feeling your guts do tell you the right things. You got to figure this one out. I can't tell you the right answer for this. If there's no really major signs other than a gut feeling, you've probably been hurt in the past, and that's what's causing this. And so because you've been hurt in the past, you're self-sabotaging your entire relationship. I honestly think that's probably the biggest issue here. You're probably self-sabotaging your relationship, and you don't know how to move forward from it. It's probably so good that you're so confused that you don't know how this could even be. And that's why a lot of great women get stuck with the wrong guy, because they don't think that good guys exist, but they're not willing to look for the right guy. They're not willing to talk to the guy that is just, the quiet guy on the side. Those guys end up with a lot of money, by the way. Those are the guys that you want to be with, but whatever. Anyway. Let's see. Let's close this out on... Let's do this one. Hey, Devin. No, this one just says Devin. No, hey, Devin. They're being stern. Devin, I've listened to your podcast for a while, and I've noticed something disturbing. You give people dangerous ideas. Some of the suggestions could seriously mess up someone's life. It's like you don't even think about the consequences. You need to start taking responsibility for your terrible advice you give. Yo, what's up? So apparently I give bad advice to people. And that's okay. I think this person is just mad. So what did I say to you that made you think that my advice is bad? Because for me, it's simple. I give advice because I'm a dad, and I've seen a few things in my life. I know a few things. I've read a few things. I've studied a few things. And I give my opinion. That's all it is an opinion. This has nothing to do with other than the fact that I've got the sheer opinion of different things, of different aspects of people's lives, and my opinion may not be the right way. And for you to be mad at me because you say that my opinion and my advice is bad and disturbing, that's on you. You can be mad at me. That's fine. I will accept that your anger is towards me for some random reason, and that's fine. I don't care. Because the reality is, I'm just giving basic advice, things that most people should know how to handle and do, but they don't. And if they choose to follow my advice and it works for them, awesome. Because that gave them something that they needed. And if it backfires on them, just remember, I'm just a guy on the internet giving advice. That's always been my disclosure. I don't have a degree. I'm not a psychologist. I just know there are basic things when it comes to living life that people should do and should know. and that can help them as they go throughout their life. So that being said, guess what? I acknowledge your anger and your disagreements with me, and I'll validate them. But on the other side, hey, it'll be okay. If you need a hug, let me know. I can probably get one arranged from someone for you, because I'm fairly confident we don't live close to each other. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for the day. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you would, do me a favor. Go in and share this with people. Go tell people to come watch the live stream every Monday through Saturday. Starts at 10 o'clock Mountain Time and goes till midnight or close to midnight Mountain Time. May start the show a little bit earlier in the near future, but as of right now, this is the time we do it. So 10 to 12. But honestly, thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for trusting me with your questions and that I answer. I appreciate it. And I hope you guys do well. And I will talk to you guys later.